up and my imagination's running wild. Haven't felt this way since I was building Lego as a child. Got my workbench good to go, my sticks and planks are all stockpiled, and I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. Well, I spent the afternoon staring at my computer screen till I stopped to see the world in grey and blue and brown and green. These pixels are so simple and so beautiful and clean, and I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. Hey, 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 I've been mining all day long. I could barely drag myself away to sing this song. Hey, 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 my castle's super strong, and I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. All right. Woo. Yeah. Now it's hard to think of offices and motorways and bills when I'm tunneling through oceans, beaches and cascading hills. These creepers make me run away, these spiders give me chills, but I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. Hey, 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 I've been mining all day long. I could barely drag myself away to sing this song. Hey, 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 my castle's super strong, and I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. That's right. Now I hope that they got Minecraft up in heaven when I die. I'll be logging into God's great super server in the sky. His frame rate's in the hundreds and his settings are all high. We got arrows, food and diamonds in an infinite supply. Hey, 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 I've been mining all day long. I could barely drag myself away to sing this song. Hey, 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 my castle's super strong, and I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. I feel good 'cause I've been mining all day long. Yeah, I feel great 'cause I've been mining all day long. Align, yearnings intertwined, the golden age in ashes once again. Under stirring stars, in the burning shards, kindle fragments of a falling rain. So look to the break of dawn, to the break of dawn. Stronger together now, we will never go. To the break of dawn, to the break of dawn, my friends. Come on, come on, come on, light up the flame. You're gonna bring the light back, bring the light back, bring it right back. Bring the light back, bring the light back, bring it right back. So live to the break of dawn, to the break of dawn. Stronger together now, we will never go, go, go.
Hello, Murphac.
To the break of dawn, my friends. Come on, come on, come on, light up the flame. You're gonna bring the light back, bring the light back, bring it right back. Bring the light back, bring the light back, bring it right back.
What's done is done, no sense in blaming anyone. Latch on to the fabric of who you have become. What's done is done, you're not the only one who's made a few mistakes that they wish they could have run. Open up your mind. Open up your mind. Open up your mind.
Okay,
Open up your mind.
this is a mic test. Can you hear me all? All hear me?
It's days like this you'll never miss. Every hour's eating at your soul. If someone said they'd save you, then leave you hanging out in the cold. You've tried everything, but hell consumes the night. You've tried everyone, but there's no one else inside. Taking all the world, the enemy lies. Time is running out. Taking all the world, the
Hello, Susan.
you thought they were brave, but they're running away. Where is your hero now? Where's your hero now? I see the pain buried in those eyes. Where is your hero now? Where's your hero now?
Okay, I wasn't talking for a moment there. Okay. If you're saying anything, I'm not hearing you. Maybe my volume settings are messed up. That's strange. I wonder why that's happening. Whatever the problem is, it's at my end.
These cuts go deeper than you can see. Straight to the heart with a vengeance. Recovery is harder than you think. As I try crawling my way back, I can feel the weight crushing my bones. Fate is justified. I released a grip from the anchor that's been holding me into this pit.
We're having a problem with Skype. My copy doesn't seem to be working right for some reason, so everyone on the stream can hear me, but I can't hear anyone talking over Skype. And
This pain burns deeper than you can feel, piercing through the armor and twisting what was real. As I try crawling my way back, I can feel the weight crushing my bones. I'm hearing voices quickly disappear. I thought I had the strength to draw the rope. The anchors in my life slowly have returned, pulling me under, taking me over. It's time to release these chains. Constantly reminded of the things I cannot change. Focusing instead on those I can. Strip me away, corrosive thoughts go deep inside the emptiness in time, stretching further from the truth.
basically, I've got a thing going here where I have a different microphone for the stream, but the audio from Skype should be coming through, and it isn't. Now, one thing, I just installed another update for OBS, my broadcasting software, and that may have broken things.
Reminded of the things I cannot change. Focusing
And it won't be the first time that an OBS update messed up my settings with other programs. Yeah, I'm bypassing Skype, so that would be why you can hear me. So, it's got... Now the thing is that if it were OBS though, I should be able to hear them even if you guys can't. See. Well, I got 10 minutes to try and sort this out, so we'll see what we get.
And I have noticed once again a perfect pendulum repeating on and on. I only have these feelings, more than which my strength is leaving, lost and without one to find me.
I'm going to try shutting down Skype and restarting it to see what happens. Often it seems we wait in what is far too near. We are sinking in to places where most light can't reach. And I'll wait for him to walk away. I'll search and see my reflection. Once I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
when we awoke, we
Try saying something, Susan.
We spoke in different languages.
Okay. I noticed that my speakers were set for weren't set for my headset, and I changed that. But on the other hand, that didn't seem to help.
still hypnotized. 3 shots tranquilized. On fire behind the eyes. Yes, she does. Ice cold brings the heat. When those boots hit the streets, I swear this fever got me shaking on my feet. Pretty little thing, my fire. Baby, the beats desire. You're the one that I want, yeah. Give this fool on his knees. Hell so hot, man, gon' freeze. Pretty little thing, Eliza. Let me tell you something. Top down, feel the sky. She's gonna dance all night. Her moves to hypnotize.
Yeah, whatever this problem is, it's completely at my end.
I swear this fever got me shaking on my feet. Pretty little thing, my fire. Baby, the beats desire. Give this fool on his knees. Hell so hot, man, gon' freeze. Pretty little thing, Eliza. But she's my pretty little thing. Yeah, baby, please forgive me. I swear this girl gone bad. I swear this girl gone bad. She moved to hypnotize the best you'll ever have. Save me.
Okay, so let me type in.
Okay, never mind. I just got my problem sorted out.
Oh, thank goodness.
I can hear you now.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was trying to remember how to use
Testing?
Lula voice chat.
Yeah, I can hear you now. It was I had a problem with my speaker settings,
Oh, yay.
and they say they can hear you now on the so
Hello.
it looks like
Hello,
It looks like-
everyone out there.
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Woo!
Talk about doing that at the last frickin' minute.
I know. So when you turn the music off, maybe let's test our volumes with everyone in the cavern.
I'll do that as soon as this song concludes.
I was about to go old-fashioned style.
Yep. Worst case
Hey.
scenario, you guys would have had to talk through the voice chat, but now we don't have to anymore.
Nice.
Arte, can you say something?
Uh-oh. Why am I not hearing anybody?
I hear
I'm
you.
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Arte, you're muted. Your mic's muted.
There I am.
There you go.
Yeah, there you are. Okay. Hopefully, everyone in the cave should be able to hear us. Anyone not hearing all four voices?
Hello, everybody. Zeke speaking.
And this is Arte.
And this is Susan. And how are all of our volumes?
You guys sound good to me.
Well, you're hearing us through Skype.
All right.
Okay. Looks like
Cheryl and Kira can hear
we're
us,
in
so-
business finally. Okay, and then let's see. What was I? Oh yeah, that's right. I need to open up that folder. Let's see. There. And there. And then now I'm down here. Okay. I've got some video
Sound like a
content to
quartet.
show. Yeah. I have some
Hello,
video
hello.
I have some video content to show today, so hopefully I've got that straight as well.
Okay.
Anyway, I guess we're ready to begin.
All right. I will start off. Everyone, my name is Zeke Matthew, Zeke, and I am one of the original hosts of the Cavern Tours. And Susan has been generously to co-host with the previous tours. During this tour, we will be exploring ages and the history behind each ages. So if you have not solved any previous, it would be recommended that you solve previous ages before going on the tour, because we'll try to be as spoiler free as possible, but in some of these ages, they will be spoiler free. At certain intervals, there will be questions where you can ask specific questions about the age. What I do recommend is we not deviate from the questions too much. The questions need to be associated with the age that we are exploring. You can PM me to Susan or me, and we will, when the question and air time comes, to answer some of these questions, we can answer some of those questions. Please don't climb any ladders or climb anything, because we have a special trick to get us place to place. We don't, and it just causes a lot of glitches, basically. The second is to stay with the group. Also, friend Mirabot. If you have not, his key number. Susan, you can type the key number in there. Friend him so that you'll be able to find us. And is there anything else I'm missing?
Nope. Although,
Arte and Mirfak are here too.
Yep.
Mirfak's providing special effects, and Arte is co-guiding.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
an arte. Sorry about that.
By the way, if you one thing I should add is that Arte's familiar with everything that I'm going to be saying with for the most today for the most part. So if you do type in any questions, then good chance that he'll simply answer you by text without interrupting the tour, saying that's perfectly fine.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that said, I don't think there's any other announcements that we needed to make, are there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, how if they get lost, how could they follow you?
Well, bearing in mind where we're going today, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Okay.
But that said, first off, the bot is the key to everything. If for some reason you wind up falling off the edge of something and panic linking out, then you can just go ahead and link back to the bot and get back to the group that way. And then, of course, if we are separated from the group, you can always get to one of us, for instance, typically me, by telling the bot link to Larry.
Also, if you're in full screen, it might be best to be in window mode and open the Twitch stream, because Larry will be showing stuff from outside the game to be able to show different
Yeah.
history stuff. So be aware of that. You will be switching
Yeah, we
back
will
and
be
forth.
switching back and forth. The reason being is because this since we started the stream, we've been able to bring in outside content such as additional artwork, videos, music, sounds, that sort of thing, as well as making it easier on us by not having to hold down that freaking tab key all the time. And saying, and Arte knows the pain.
And before
Oh,
we
yeah.
begin, I just want to give a shout out to a couple of people I think are first time tourists. Welcome Death Cathlon and Crew Cut and Lindor.
Okay.
Okay.
So without that, I think we are ready. Link to Mirrorbot, and once everyone's there, we will get started.
Okay, let's see. And welcome to today's tour, which today covers Relto and Phil's Relto. And now you understand why it is that I didn't think we were going to get lost today. Oh, wow. Notice the new effect? I'm going to have to find out where Murfak got this. This is a brand new Relto, a couple of brand new Relto pages. The green crystals I know come from Tiam, which is a fan age, but I don't know where the ocean page is.
We do have 2 stragglers in Relto, but I reminded them to link to Mirabot.
Okay.
Not in Relto, in the Cavern Hood.
Mm-hmm. Same idea. I understood. See, this is the first time I've seen the ocean page in effect, so that's interesting. Oh well, back to business. Relto is a portmanteau made up of the words re, el. What the heck? Made up of the words re, el, and to, and means the high place. A reference to it being on the top of a mountain with a sheer drop off into unknown depths. It's permanently surrounded by mist that conceals the terrain below. Presently, we don't even know if there is any terrain below. It was Yisha's masterpiece, and as far as I know... I'm hearing somebody coughing. Oh well.
Sorry, that's my wife. She and I both have bad colds.
Okay. It was Yisha's masterpiece, and as far as I know, the only age she ever wrote herself. All of the other ages she shared with explorers were ones that she modified, but were written by Denis writers. If it's true that she only wrote this one age, then that means she wrote half of the number of ages her grandmother helped to write, since Tiana was involved in writing Gemided and Myst. When she completed it and showed it to her mentor from the Denis Guild of Writers, whose name was Callum, it came as a complete and utter shock to him because it shattered many of the long-held beliefs handed down from the time of Gardner. The laws of Relto that Relto broke were, first, that no book could link directly from another location in the same age. Instead, one had to exit the age and return to the new location. Second, no book could be used to link from within an age back to that same age and location. Both rules are violated because you can link directly from your Relto back to your Relto. Third, no book can travel along with the person using it to link, whereas Relto users routinely carry the book on their belts. And finally, no book can be modified to add or subtract features after it is written, whereas Relto users can add pre-written pages to it at will and turn those features on and off. There have been questions about that last rule because when the stranger found Atris, he was writing in Riven's descriptive book. The difference was that all that Atris was trying to do was slow down the rate at which it was falling apart. He was not adding or subtracting things from the age. If he had tried to change the age to save it from destruction, the most likely result would have been the loss of the link to it and any chance of rescuing Catherine. The rule, by the way, was less of a law and more of a strict guideline the Guild of Writers taught and followed during the Denis era. The Denis knew that you could alter a book. They also knew that any changes made could destabilize an age to the point of destruction, break the link to that age, or change the link to another one entirely. If that happened, the odds were that a link to that particular world could never be made again. Because of how likely it was that altering a book would lead to disaster, it was forbidden by Denis law. As Yisha hints in one of her speeches, the Denis could not have written Relto. It was partly because she wasn't bound by any Denis legal restrictions, but it was also because she used techniques she learned from her parents, her Denis mentor Callum, and after his death, from the Bardo. Her parents were innovative because they were mostly self-taught and experimented with the art in ways that would have horrified Denis writers before the fall. And let's see if I can play you the speech that Yisha had.
Relto, the high place. Your age.
Okay. Actually, I need to turn on VLC. Okay. And
Age now. It was the first age I wrote.
excuse me, I have to start.
Relto, the high place. Your age now. It was the first age I wrote, a gift from my parents, and now much more. It reminds me of another home, another place. I even placed the library in the place it belongs. But Relto will change. It will be your soul, showing what you are. Only I could write Relto. It's beyond what the Denis could accomplish. Keep it.
Okay, did you all hear that? Okay, good. I wasn't sure if I had the audio video visual stuff done correctly. Okay, and VLC. When Yisha was planning The Path of the Hand, she began mass-producing Relto books and adding a twist to them. Each book would link to a separate instance of Relto that could be customized by adding pre-designed pages to them to add new features. She then arranged for Jeff Zandy to guide the people she had her Barrow call to find copies of the books in a Barrow cave that she installed in the cleft. After they first linked to Relto, the explorers would find pillars with linking books to Edergira and Chemo, Garrison, Kadish Talessa, and Teledon in the yard. Later, she changed her method and had copies of the books given to explorers directly when they first began their journeys. The place they arrived in was Relto, which had a pillar that had a linking book to the cleft in its yard. She then put a Relto page in the cleft's Barrow cave that placed the pillars for the various ages when it added to their copy of the Relto linking book. No one has yet offered an explanation as to why she changed her method that way. When Yisha wrote Relto, her description of it was intended to deliberately resemble Myst Island in several ways. The rock spire here corresponds to the tower spire on Myst. The Denis clock corresponds with Myst clock tower. The Ponderosa pine page represents the Myst tree that held the linking book to Channelwood. The bench corresponds to Myst's power room. The pond corresponds to Myst's mechanical age gears. The dock page corresponds to Myst's dock. The hut corresponds to Myst's library building with the shelves, door, and fireplace matching similar features. And finally, there's a round stone feature here, which corresponds with the well that had the model ship in it on Myst. Although it's not actually a well, it's just a circle of stones placed on the ground. Yisha had a complex personality, and it involved pride, arrogance, insanity, all in at least some small degree. During her early life, she went through two major traumas. The first was a betrayal by her second oldest brother, Surus, who directly assaulted her mind, and which led to the death of her eldest brother, Akinar. The second major trauma was the death of her mentor. Those events left an indelible mark on her, and she was never able to recapture the innocent joy of discovering new worlds that she had had as a child. Instead, she became obsessed with the legend of the grower, and when she discovered the existence of the Barrow, with freeing them from their bondage to Denis. Those two obsessions were the driving forces behind everything she did until Dr. Watson finally accomplished what she could not, which was to give the Barrow back their ability to choose their own destiny. Her ability to write ages that Denis couldn't made her both proud and arrogant, and she recognized those traits in herself. She never quite managed to overcome them. Instead, she transferred her hatred of her own faults into a hatred of Denis, and claimed that they had all the flaws that she saw in herself. That colored all of the recorded speeches she left for explorers to find. Dr. Watson, though, does point out that her pride and arrogance were excusable. They were the pride and confidence of a craftsman who knew her worth. But Yisha herself said that they led her to think things about herself that she should not have. Okay, pressing the wrong buttons here. The next thing I'm going to talk about is over here, and that's the well. I mentioned before that the well in Relto is an analog of the Myst well, although there isn't any sort of a shaft under it or water inside it. As one completes Yisha's journeys, it instead becomes something more, and that's a monument to your accomplishments. Above it, floating rings appear that are made up of sections that are called wedges. There are 5 rings that appear, one for each of the 5 journeys Yisha set up. Their wedges appear above the well every time a baroglyph is touched in a cave that's located in the ceiling of the Cavern Rudena. Excuse me, I'm mispronouncing that. Okay, and I'm going to be switching over to the stream for a moment here. Let's see. Here we go. To show you some pictures. The first picture, of course, is of a incomplete stack of the 5 rings. The second picture that you're seeing here, let's see. Is the spiral pattern. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. The sides of the wedges have designs that identify the journey they belong to. So the first spiral pattern that I'm showing a picture of here is for the 2 Garden Age wedges. The next is for the Path of the Hand, which is the first journey you go on. The next one that I have is actually, if I remember correctly, yeah, this one is unidentified, and I'm not sure that there's actually a ring for it yet. It's not part of, I can only guess that this is for a 6th journey, which has not yet been introduced to explorers. Since I've never seen this design before, I started looking into it. Okay, this one I believe is going to be for Minkata. Although it's a little hard to see. Okay, this one
That's a pod
is
age.
for the pod age, yes. Okay, this picture,
That's the top of all
yeah.
the rings. All the rings.
No, actually, it's
have-
not all of them. This type of wedge, which you'll see is a half circle, whereas most of the others are a quarter circle. The quest to get these wedges have 2 parts. There's a solid ring reward for the Minkata journey, and it uses 2 of these designs instead of having one of its own. Now, if you look at that carefully, when I show you the next picture, you'll notice that it actually is slightly different from the top for the quarter wedges. And of course, we have the wedge for the Path of the Shell. Okay, and that's it for the photographs of the various wedge sections.
What I was referring to as far as when I said there's the same glyph on top of all the wedges, in that not so much the coloring, but the fact that it's a book with 3 lines in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
as far
over
as
a
them being
cross of some
similar.
sort, right?
Yeah. Indicating writing.
And on the 6th journey, I noticed it looked like the same symbol that you would do at the Great Tree Pub, where you would link to.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that because I had never seen that before, and what I suspect is that may be one for for an upcoming fan age, but I couldn't say for certain.
Okay.
Like I said, I hadn't actually seen it until I extracted the files and started poking through them. Okay. By the way, speaking of questions, which I'm seeing the subject came up in chat. Were there any questions for anything up to this point?
No one IM'd me any questions. Zeke,
Yep.
what about you?
I haven't seen any yet either.
Okay. In that case.
Can we swim in this
No, for
water,
me.
by the way?
You should. Well, I asked Murphac to put a surface on it, so you might be able to walk on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
But let's stick to our tour for right now. We can go exploring later.
Oh no, I was, yeah.
You.
Yeah.
But if we
Anyway,
go exploring now,
the next thing that we have to talk about is on the opposite side, and that's the calendar stone, which is out here on this little island off to one side. And by the way, the official name of this is the calendar stone. The Relto page to add it is one of the earliest that you can find. To add the objects to it, you must search for baroglyphs in various places with small, bright lights floating above them. Those lights are nicknamed sparks or sparklies by explorers, but the official name for them are calendar stars. The calendar stone is a Relto page that Yisha added in January of 2007 when the calendar stars began appearing. At first they only appeared during their corresponding month. When the cavern was reopened in February of 2010, all of the calendar stars appeared at once and have remained continuously visible ever since. The stone has a sun, a crescent moon, and 3 small spirals overlaid on a large spiral on its surface. The large spiral is similar to the design used to represent Yisha's journeys and philosophies in other baroglyphs. The sun, moon, and 3 small spirals on the glyph that underlays all of the calendars also underlays all of the calendar stars in the other ages where they appear. Okay, and let's see. That's down here. Let's back up a bit. Okay, and I've up in the stream window, I've now put on a close-up of the calendar stone so that you can see the designs more clearly if you like. The objects that are added to the stone by finding calendar stars are called calendar roses. There is one for each month of the year, beginning on the left of to the left of the bridge at about the 7 o'clock position and going clockwise around the stone. The numbers of the months are unusual in that they are written by hand rather than using an exact print or carving. Below the number and on the back of each rose, you will find several undefined baro symbols, many of which seem to be figures of people. The official name calendar rose is also almost never used by explorers. They are usually called blue flame candles, although they have small stars rather than flames, and are multicolored rather than just blue. And I'm going to go ahead and back up here. If you look at the, let me make that a little smaller, and then position it right. Okay, if you look at the stream window, you will see the design for one of the calendar roses laid out flat so that you can see all the symbols on it. Susan, the Denis number that you see on each rose is the month that it represents. And I'll back up, show you one more picture real quick. And that is, these are the Denis numbers that are written on each one of the stones. Murphac doesn't have a complete collection here yet, so this way you'll be able to see all of the numbers. Okay, and let's see.
There were 12 months in the Dunny year, right? Someone's asking me.
No, there weren't. There were 10.
Oh,
the Denis,
because go ahead.
if I remember correctly, Arte, I believe it's 10. While the Denis year is
I'm sorry. It was
while,
10 Denis months with 29 Denis days.
Yeah. Even though the Denis year is the same length as ours, their timekeeping is very different. So for one thing, they had 30-hour days, or 30 plus, and therefore their entire calendar, while it's the same length, is divided up differently.
Well, but wouldn't they have had to adjust things when they came to Earth?
Nope.
I mean, that was okay?
They were underground. When did they ever see the sun?
Well, yeah, but I mean, underground is still Earth, though.
Mm-hmm. But that's just it, is that everything that we do is based on the movement of the sun and the moon and the stars. That's how we derived our calendar.
Right.
They just can't, since they were underground and never saw those things, they just kept the one that they'd always used.
So it was like an underground garden, eh?
Mm-hmm. And that's just it, is that that's exactly what it was, as a matter of fact. And their day cycles, which were determined by Renderef when he wrote the Book of Earth, the moss was 30 hours, had a 30-hour cycle in which it would get dim and then get bright and then get dim and then get bright.
Okay, but then Atris lived on the Earth's surface, so I wonder if he had to sort of devise his own calendar. And I'm sorry if I'm beating a dead horse.
Oh no, he just used the surface calendar when he was on the surface, and the Denis cavern when he was in Denis.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Now, let's see. Anyway, so I have an illustration of a calendar star, which, by the way, you'll see this particular one has a green star rather than a blue one. And you can see it floating above the copy of the sun, moon, and spirals. The calendar stars appeared in the following locations in this order in 2007. In January, the first one appeared in Garisan. In February, the second one appeared in Kadesh Telesa. In March, in Lower Edagura. In April, in Garisan. The first one to appear in Garisan, by the way, was in the access hallway of Garisan 2. The one that appeared in April was in the prison cell. In May, another appeared in Descent. In June, in Menkata. In July, in Rakana. In August, in Jalak. In September, in Teladan. In October, in Phil Henderson's Relto on the dock here. And then in November in The Great Zero. And finally, the last one appeared in December in the Myst library. Once you had all of those collected, of course, you were rewarded with when the center of the calendar stone began sending up fireworks. Let's see if I... Yeah, I don't have a picture of that, but everyone's probably seen that more than plenty of times. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to talk about are two of the Relto pages that appear, and that would be the viewer and the clock. Excuse me, I need to turn off the calendar slideshow. Susan asked why there are 12 roses when the Denis only had 10 months. And yes, that was, Yisha created it, and she was using it for surface time, since she was indeed writing it for the explorers. So she wrote one for each surface month. Okay. I mentioned that the clock that appears when you collect the appropriate page was put there sort of to represent the clock tower on Myst. But that is actually a Denis public clock. Denis clocks are based on their 30-hour day, which is divided into 25 partavoti. A partavo equals about 1 hour and 13 minutes in surface time. Denis timepieces, by the way, run in the opposite direction that surface clocks do. So the numbers on the public clock in Relto, you will see, if you watch it for a while, you will see that they move from right to left under the magnifying lens placed on the support arm. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, Arte, but is it Agartavo is the one that's divided up into 5?
He said he crashed. I don't know if
Correct.
he's. Oh, never
Okay.
mind.
No, I'm still
He's
listening
back.
on his script. No, Uru
Okay.
crashed on me. Yes.
Okay.
The basic unit of time is a tavo. So you've got Gartavo, which is a great tavo. So there's 4 of those in a Denis day. And a partavo is the part refers to large. So it's like the next size up from a tavo. And then the next segment of time is just a plain tavo. And there's 25 tavo in a gar tavo. And then you get down to the Denis minutes and seconds, which are the goran and the proran. And there's 25 of each of those. 25 goran in a tavo and 25 proran in a goran.
And none
Little
of
extra
them are
knowledge.
exactly, yeah, and none of them are exactly the same as on the surface. Uh, if I remember correctly, a Denis minute is equivalent to about a minute and a half on the surface. Something like that.
No, actually, it's equivalent to about 35 seconds.
Okay.
And then
Excuse me.
the Denis second is about, what, 1.5 seconds, something like
Okay.
that.
Then that's what I was getting mixed up on. Okay. And then the viewer, which we are standing next to, sort of. Now, the one thing that that's really interesting about Denis image viewers is, and that which what really sets them apart from the surface is that they don't have screens. Instead, a large number of projectors, which appear as circles on a grid, form an image a few inches out from the device in midair. The exact mechanism used isn't known to me, but if you move to one side of the viewer, you can see the gap between the image and the viewer itself. And here, let me... Okay, now if you look at the stream window, here's the viewer when it's turned off. So you can see the actual projectors. And then when it's turned on, if you'll notice, you can still see it from the side, but you'll also notice that there's a blurry section a few inches away from the surface of it, and that is the image it's projecting. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the animals here. Relto has no known native wildlife. Instead, animals from other ages can be imported into it, usually by means of Relto pages that Yisha scattered. In Kadish Telesa, she left a Relto page that brings crimson Kadish butterflies into Relto. Those butterflies are native to Laki An. The name Crimson Kadish was given to them by a fan group called the Denis Zoological Society because of their color and because they were first found in the alternate vault of Kadish Telesa. Let's see. And let's put up... and I have a picture of them fluttering around in the stream window. Okay. From the cleft, a type of bird can be imported to Relto. The page imports 2 of them. The DRC identifies the noise that they make as being a type of vulture, but I've been unable to find a match for the exact call. However, the silhouette of the birds matches the zone-tailed hawks that you find flying around the cleft. One animal that can appear here that you do not find a Relto page for are fireflies from Ederchemo. They can be brought to your Relto by linking there from the garden while you have some of them fluttering around you. However, if you turn on the rain here, they won't stick around. Okay. The next thing that we'll talk about are the plants that you find here. And let's see. Plants, plants, plants. There we go. When you first arrive in Relto, there are 3 varieties of plant that are here when you arrive. I'm showing you a picture of the first type, which is American beach grass. Oops. Oh, here we go. The second type that you can find is called dune grass. Okay, excuse me, Susan's messaging me for something. You might want to try refreshing the screen because I see I've got a window open and I'm seeing what I'm talking about. Okay. The final type of plant that you find when you first arrive are seedlings of the Sitka spruce tree. Once you start collecting Relto pages, other plants that you can add are a ponderosa pine from Kadesh Talesa, maple trees from Ederdellan, various decorative shrubs and vines from Negolan, tall grasses from Ederzogel, and what are called tristocks from Urkana. By the way, the tristock is another name given by the Denis Zoological Society. There doesn't seem to be an official name for the plants that I've ever found. Okay, and Murphak, if you could please turn off the pine trees, or the maple trees.
Someone is saying he doesn't remember. She's saying she doesn't remember a blue flower page.
There is indeed, and it's turned on. You'll notice where I'm standing. I'm right next to a patch of them.
Is that a fan age Relto
No,
page?
that is from the cleft. It's from the rainy cleft.
Oh, because that was Tiana's favorite flower, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. No, we still have the maple trees, it looks like. There's one I'm going to talk about for a moment, in a moment, as soon as we, well, I'm waiting to see whether or not, okay. But there's a little secret around back of the Relto hut. Okay, yeah, he hasn't turned it off the pine trees yet. I mean the what am I saying? Pine. I keep saying pine. I but back here, all the way back in the corner, there's a little secret. If you look, you'll notice that there's a group of about 4 butterflies that are all flying around in a circle around one of the trees. I call that particular place the butterfly tree just as a nickname. They come with the butterfly Relto page, so if it's turned off, they disappear. But if you don't have the fall leaves Relto page, which is what I was calling the maple trees, there are 4 spruce trees back here, and the butterfly tree is the tallest one. But if the maples are turned on, or if the fall leaves are turned on, the spruce trees are replaced by 3 maples, and the butterfly tree is the one farthest to the left. And that's a little thing I don't know how many of you may have noticed before, but thought I'd point it out this since I'm being thorough. I don't think I've ever seen a calendar rose quite that big before.
Oh dear. So there's 1 month per year now.
But it's a very big month.
Yes.
Okay, now, speaking of Relto pages, here we go. If you look at the window for the stream window, I'm showing right now. I'm going to show you all of the currently available Relto pages. This one, of course, is for the bench. The next one is for the birds. This is the supposedly non-existent blue flower page. This one is for the butterflies.
Apparently I need to catch up on playing Moolah.
This one is for the calendar stone. This is for the or the music player in the Relto hut, which is the Denis name for it is a cannon. This is for the clock. This is for decorative artwork on the building, on the hut. Here's the dock page. This is for the my mind's going blank.
The tall Cadiz tree.
Yeah, let's see. Decoration stock, Arcana plant. Oh, the Ponderosa pine. That's it. The Arcana plants.
The tri-stalks.
Mm-hmm. This one I believe
The maple
is...
tree.
Let's see. Hang on for a second.
The maple tree.
Fall leaves. That's what it's called. These are for the fire marbles. Fireplace. Let's see. That one is called... Well, it's called grass. Okay. This is the islands page. Logs and stones. This is, I believe, called lush vegetation. Lush plants, yes. Okay. This is one of the new pages, which we saw that when we first came in. It's called the ocean page. And this one I do not know where to get.
So all they need is an outhouse page from one of the shards, right?
Deep Island. Actually, Deep Island has a few more. This one is for the pillars, of course. This is the rain page. This is a new roof for the hut. This is, I believe, the storm page. Yes. Sun and this one adds a new sun and moon, if I remember correctly. What do they call that officially, though? Yeah, sun and moons. Okay, I was right the first time. This is one of the new pages. This is and this is not a page you pick up. I believe that it just appears in the book after you've fulfilled the conditions to get it. And this is the green crystals from Tiam, which is a fan age.
The green crystals do have their own Relto page that you have to click on.
Oh, I didn't see it when I went looking for it. Okay, thank you. And then this one is the sky from Ville Savan, another fan age. This is for the imager. This is for the pond and waterfalls. And then we're back to the bench. So that was all of the existing Relto pages currently in the game. And I'd love to know where to get the ocean page. One of Yisha's more questionable habits was that when she worked on an age, she tended to mark it with her monogram. By the way, just this morning, I saw a rather funny joke. Somebody had drawn a cartoon which showed somebody meeting Yisha for the first time, where she's introducing herself and appears before this explorer. And it basically says, "Hello, we haven't met before, but I'm..." And then the explorer interrupts her and says, "You're Yisha, right?" And she says, "What? How did you know? And and she said, and staring pointedly at the tattoo on her face, she said, "Oh, it just came to me." In any case, we weren't talking about her adding a signature to her work just like an artist might put on a painting or sculpture. She plastered it on multiple places and ages she modified. I don't know the true intent behind it. My first thought was that she was basically claiming credit for ages she didn't write. Relto, though, is no different. There are 4 copies of her monogram to be found in this tiny age. When you walk into the hut, there are 2 monograms on the walls, one above each of the 2 book shelves. And that, if you look, is, let's see, that's a little difficult to see, but in the stream window, I'm showing you the one that's marked on the wall, or the 2 that are marked on the wall. But that's not the end of it. On the carpet on the floor is another copy of her monogram. That makes 3. Does anyone have a guess as to where the 4th one is?
The 4th monogram?
Mm-hmm.
Where were the first 3 again?
Those are all inside the hut, the carpet and the 2 on the walls.
So there's one more in
There is
in
one
Relto?
more. Yes, there is.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
There's one above the bookcase. Did you mention that one?
Those are the 2 on the walls.
Okay.
I won't keep you in suspense any longer.
Please don't.
Hey, this is all about suspense.
If you look at the clock, it's on the top.
No.
And there it is in the a photograph of it in the
She's-
stream window.
She's a graffiti artist.
Very much so.
Oh, wow. Does look like we do have some questions, though.
She's marking her territory.
Most
Just
definitely.
like a dog.
Oh dear.
Let's see.
Okay, and do we have any more questions about Relto itself?
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much everything I had to say here.
There's a question by Potu. Is there any... Oh, hold on. I have to turn my sound off. There's a question by Potu. Is there any place I can go that lists all the Relto pages where I can get them? I'm not familiar with some of them.
I believe that the Guild of Messengers may have some information on, but the official Guild of Archivists is considered an official source of information nowadays, and you can find most of this stuff there.
Okay. And then one from Pink Elephant says, which one is Timon in the Watcher's Pub?
Tiam?
Tiam.
I don't remember the exact position, but it's the one that looks like a room covered in sand. It's got white walls, if I remember correctly. So you should be able to recognize it from the picture.
Let's see. Uh, oh, is is the carpet the same in the Teledon too?
No, the carpet in Teledon actually is a Denis compass rose, pointing out north, south, east, and west. It's actually mirrored by the lamps in the office there. Those are also the compass rose.
Okay. I don't see any more questions. Susan, you got any?
No, I don't.
Okay. In that case, the next place that we're going to go to continue today's tour is Phil's Relto, and I believe that you PM the bot to Phil to get there, if I remember correctly. Oh, excuse me. Before we go there, though, you can run. There's an on-lake effect here, so if you want to get off the island and just run around a little bit, now's your chance.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I wouldn't mind finding this water effect.
So when this water effect is on in your regular Relto as opposed to Mirabot's Relto, do you just fall through the H or can you
Why?
swim?
No, you'd have to have an on-lake effect, which is what this is entirely the doing of Murabot. The as far as it's just the water look that you get from the page. However, that said, I don't know where to find it, so I couldn't say. I don't have any further information on just that it exists, and I'm amazed that they can't. I was actually very surprised that Murphac had it turned on when we got here.
Well, what's interesting is when you approach the dock, you climb up onto the dock as though you're climbing out of water.
Ah, I didn't.
So I have a
That's-
feeling you can swim in it. It wouldn't make sense to have a
Maybe.
water effect that you couldn't swim
Yeah.
in.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. It does come up right to the level of the dock, doesn't it?
Yeah. And did you climb up the dock here?
Not yet.
The animation?
So, what was the point of these just decorations for Relto that you cited?
It was for customizing. She said that the basic idea was that it was supposed to be your soul. In other words, you could customize it to suit yourself and your tastes, and so that each one would be different. Of course, most people just collect all the pages and leave them turned on for the most part.
Yeah.
And as we'll see, Phil's Roadshow is pretty gloomy.
The page to get his sky still, I don't believe, is available to explorers. It's the one page that isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this okay. It might be the a preview of an upcoming age of some type. Maybe
No,
like
it's been there since the beginning, and and it's the one page that's never been available for explorers to use.
really this lake page. Wow.
No, not this page. I'm talking about Phil's sky.
Oh, okay.
Did anyone read out what Korovev wrote in Twitch? He says the Blue Flowers page was re-imported from the offline game. The symbol on it is the Lush page from the offline game. The water effect was added recently, but no page has been made available yet.
Yeah, that's what I thought. About the water page is that it's probably for fan age that hasn't been made available yet.
Thank you, Korovev.
All right. I think it's time we move on to Phil's
Okay.
Relto.
In that case, let's see. Murrabot
To fill does work.
to Phil.
Now, in this stage, you can fall out of the age
Yes,
if
this is a
you
public
step off the
age.
dock or the
So-
island.
Right. This is a
Uh,
public age, not part of Murrabot's programming. So he can send you here, but he can't do anything to affect this age. Not without getting in an awful lot of trouble with Cyan, anyway. This is, of course, the Relto of Phil Henderson. It's the only DRC member's Relto that can be accessed. Phil was a restoration engineer who was assigned to work on Eder Chemo in 2002. Toward the end of that year, he became the first person to enter one of the Barrow gates. The portal appeared in the garden one day when he was working there. None of the currently available recordings say whether or not it opened itself for him, if he found the 7 journey cloths there, or if he gained access some other way. All that is known is that he entered the portal and his key signal vanished, making it impossible to contact him. A few weeks later, he contacted an authorized explorer named Zardoz. He told Zardoz that he was all right, and then cut the communication. It was almost a full year later, on November 20th of 2003, that Phil returned. He'd been changed by his journey and claimed to have personally seen Yisha. He took Douglas Sharper on a journey shortly after his return. Henderson wholly supported Yisha's form of restoration over that of the DRC, and seemed to have gained a few abnormal abilities. Demonstrating one of them, he caused Yisha's Island Relto page to appear out of nowhere in the residential neighborhoods. Other than saying he had seen Yisha, he did not talk about what he experienced in the year he went missing. He seemed confused and disoriented when he first reappeared, and it took a little while before he seemed to at least know where he was. Some explorers expressed concerns about the state of his sanity. It was around that time that Douglas Sharper decided to form an alliance with Phil, who became noted for climbing into places that were restricted and dangerous, with what seemed to be a blasé disregard for his own safety. Together, the two of them talked to explorers about the DRC and their supposed mistakes, as well as how important it was to follow Yisha and learn the quote-unquote truth about Denis from her instead of the DRC. It's not unreasonable to wonder whether or not Douglas had a clue about what the truth was. He just seemed to like having influence with explorers and liked having people rally behind him. To that end, he seems to have seen Phil's rambling as an opportunity to cause mischief. In his journal, Sharper wrote about his first meeting with Phil. The entry is dated 11/28/03, and it says, "What is it with this Phil character? The man is disturbing yet intriguing. I was able to talk to him last night for a while in chemo. He's probably just crazy, but if they will listen to him, then he could be very useful. More people need to hear him. He's agreed to meet with me again. This could be just what I needed." On December 3rd of 2003, Dr. Watson and Victor Laxman tricked Phil by inviting him to the Canyon Bridge, where they took his Relto book away and then took him to Corel. A fan group called The Great Tree made a series of machinima videos to illustrate chat logs from those days. I borrowed one that shows the incident and edited it down to only show the non-player characters to keep the running time down. And let's see if I can play that for you. So you'll need to watch the chat window for this. Let's see. Here we go. And you'll see. Okay, that's not showing. So let me... Let's see if this works. Nope, it isn't so far. Well, this is disappointing. I wish I'd tried this out earlier. Maybe I could have... Okay, where's my cursor? There we go. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm trying to get a... Okay, we got that visible now. Everyone's seeing this, correct?
Yep, I see it.
Yes, ever since his mysterious return, yeah.
Yes, I do.
What year did this occur?
I think
I
2000,
believe it was 2002.
2003, yeah.
2002. Wow. I stand corrected.
Well, there's Rawa. Oh, yes, of course. Are they talking to each other through their keys?
It's all chat. There was no voice acting.
Well, I mean, if they're all in 3 different places, how can they hear each other?
That's what I'm saying. It's all text chat.
Yeah. Movie magic. Just kind of has that, Susan.
Okay, and that was the Great Tree production of Phil's capture.
That was suspenseful.
Mm-hmm. There's actually 7 episodes you could watch.
It looked like Sharper
Although-
was wearing a Yisha t-shirt too.
He was. He started wearing that basically as a sign of rebellion. Okay, let's see.
So they took away his Relto book so he couldn't jump off the bridge.
Correct. I'll be talking about that in just a moment after I get everything back up that I want to have up. Okay, that'll do for now. They took Phil to Corel, and Watson and Laxman locked him in the meditation chambers, so that they could question him and try to determine why he was behaving so irresponsibly. Phil's incarceration caused immediate and widespread discontent among explorers, and Douglas Sharper jumped in on the chance to lead a number of them in tearing down the barricades that were blocking the entrance to the Kahlo pub. He also had explorers help him break into the meditation chamber of his private neighborhood. At the height of his acting out, he stole Phil's Relto book from the place where the DRC was storing it and hid it in the spy room he was using to watch as the DRC were talking about the restoration of Teledon. On the 22nd of December, Phil was released after giving his word that he would stop climbing into unapproved areas. The next day, after writing a rambling statement in a notebook that he left here in his Relto, Phil broke his promise to the DRC and climbed up to the capital structure of the Guildhall complex. He used it as a podium to begin speaking to explorers on the island. However, while he was talking, a portion of the structure collapsed under him. The DRC immediately cleared all of the explorers off the island and mounted a rescue operation to try to find Phil. The rescue failed because they were unable to find him, and he was assumed to have been crushed under tons of rubble. All they found was his key, which had been smashed by some of the debris from the collapse. It was assumed that he had taken it off after climbing up to the Guildhall to avoid being tracked. Shortly after Phil Henderson's apparent death, Dr. Watson had an emotional breakdown. He resigned from the council and left the cavern. He started a journal on the December 23rd of 2003 as he wandered through the Denis tunnels, debating with himself about whether or not the restoration was still worth doing. By January 17th of 2004, he arrived at the middle Edertomanti of the Great Shaft. His final entry into the journal, which he left in the Toman, said that he had decided to take on Yisha's journey. He had written, "And so here I am, small, on the edge of the vast unknown, this place that seems so appropriate. I have come to a conclusion that goes against who I was, but this is me with life and hope. I will take a leap of faith. I will take a new journey, the journey that Phil encouraged me to take for myself, a journey that is out of my control. I will jump into something and lose myself. Take a journey to places unknown, whose end is not yet written. I will follow Yisha's mysterious beckoning. Somehow even writing it lifts my spirit. I am returning to the surface to do just that." Victor Loxman, Dr. Kodama, Dr. Sutherland, and Michael Ingberg continued on in Dr. Watson's absence. Victor Laxman opened up the Great Zero and asked the explorers to recalibrate it. But his project wasn't completed before the next big surprise. Funding for the restoration suddenly dried up. possibly because of the number of fatalities, or maybe because the investors simply weren't getting the returns that they were looking for. As it was, the investors dropped out and left the DRC without an income. Realizing that they had no choice but to return to the surface and try to find another source of funding, in December of 2004, the restoration was officially canceled. All of the restoration engineers, authorized explorers, and explorers called by Yisha were escorted to the surface. The gate into Jeff Zandy's property was locked, and for the first time in over 10 years, Denis was empty again. Phil's accident was a wake-up call for Sharper, too, and it weighed heavily on his conscience. He stayed behind for a while when the DRC was leaving, and wrote this in his journal. 2/13/04. My God, I may have killed him. 2/28/04. There is no life here, literally and figuratively. They're all gone. And I'm stuck alone with the thought that Phil may have died because of me. I've talked to a number of the DRC about it. They never found a body, but apparently a destroyed key was found at the bottom of where the precipice once stood. No one wanted to say it, but I've had the dream twice now. Phil standing up there, confident in his ability to return to his Relto at any time. The first crack. Still confident. Enjoying the thrill. Another crack of stone, and the tower begins to break. He reaches down to grab the Relto book, just to be ready. It's then he realizes it's gone. He turns to escape, but he's already falling. A cry for help, that those who were there heard. He has no chance because I took the book. The rubble buries him forever. No, I have to believe it didn't happen that way. That thought about his possession of the Relto book, which he deliberately left in the spy room as a type of shrine, haunted him for years. However, the caverns didn't stay empty. In 2006, the DRC returned to the cavern and would stay there for a year after finding a new sponsor. It was also not the end of Phil. It turned out that the assumption of his death was a mistake. On August 3rd of 2007, he returned after having been missing for 4 years. He began talking to explorers about his absence and about Baro and Yisha. Sharper heard about his appearance and came to see it with his own eyes. When he saw Phil there, alive and well, the relief was intense for him. He approached Phil and apologized humbly for taking and hiding his Relto book. Phil absolved him of wrongdoing, saying, "It wasn't you, Douglas. It was what it was." And that was, as far as I know, the last time anyone ever saw Phil Henderson. The renewed attempt to rebuild Denis lost its sponsor, and the cavern was abandoned by the DRC for the second time. It wasn't until 2010 that the cavern was reopened yet again and remains open presently. This time it's solely an effort by explorers, and there isn't an official DRC presence, although occasionally one of the old restoration engineers visits to take measurements. Phil's Relto is the only one that has a sky which appears to be just after sunset. While there is a light on the horizon, overall it's dark. Explorers originally believed that the sky in Phil's Relto was dark because of comments made by Yisha about the age reflecting the soul of its owner. When explorers first gained access to the Relto in 2004, Phil was believed to be dead, and many explorers thought the sky was a statement about it. However, when Phil returned to the cavern in 2007, the sky remained dark, which seems to stand against this long-running theory. It now seems more likely that, in his extensive travels, Phil simply acquired a Relto page to darken the sky of his Relto that is not available to anyone else as yet. As a DRC member, Phil's Relto linking bookshelves are filled with mysterious books. However, they are firmly locked and cannot be explored. Originally, the Soul Unlocked book took you to Corel, Phil's home neighborhood as a member of the DRC. The DRC was unable to remove these books even though they had his Relto book for a time, and that's because the locks can only be undone by a Relto's owner. And we have one final thing to mention, or to talk about, and that is what inspired Relto. Let's see. Here we go. If you look at the chat window, Relto didn't just spring from the mines of Cyan out of nowhere. It was inspired by the real-life scenery found on Washington State's Pacific Ocean coastline. Several beaches along the coast have terrain features called sea stacks. Sea stacks are columns of rock formed by erosion caused by the ocean waves and wind. Headlands that project out into the sea along the coast get worn away over a long time, leaving the more solid part standing as the softer rock and dirt is washed away. The larger stacks will still have the soil and plants atop them from when they were still part of the mainland. And let's see. Let's take you through a few pictures here. When the fog rolls in off the ocean, the stacks sometimes look like they have a sea of clouds around them. It was this phenomenon that inspired the look of Relto. Okay, and before we close for the day, do we have any more questions?
Well, Lindor had one that Arte answered in chat.
Okay.
And I don't have anything in my queue.
Okay. In that case, I believe that pretty much does it.
So, Arte, do you have any final thoughts?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. I want to thank you for everyone coming on to this Cavern Tour. We will be doing the Cavern Tour the fourth Sunday of every month.
Fourth Saturday.
Fourth Saturday of every month so far. At 11 key time. I want to thank Arte and Larry for our historians and Mirfak for all the special effects he provides. And for me and Susan hosting this tour for you. And also don't forget to donate to the CavaCon to help keep these events alive and booming as well. And Larry, do you want to announce some of the later events happening today?
Hang
And
on
real-
just a second.
Very
I'm
quickly,
looking.
our next tour is February 25th. So mark your calendars. Yep, same time next month, February 25th, 11 key time.
Okay, here we go. And let me bring up web browser.
In the
Okay.
Cavern Tours hood, there's a splash screen on the left imager that tells when the next tour is.
Okay, I believe that's today. Yes, Saturday the 28th.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, these are the events that are still going on today. Say, And you notice that two of them are for Arte. You want to say anything about them?
Yes, I've got a story night coming up here in about an hour at 1400 key time, Story Night Europe. And then again tonight at the story will be repeated at 2330 key time. And we gather about a half an hour before the story in Sano's Hood, TSANAHN. I can't talk.
It's on the screen.
Yeah, it's on the screen.
Do you want to tell them about your language lessons too?
Yes, I also teach the Denis language for anybody who's interested. There's two different courses that you can take. The first course teaches you how to read Denis, and the second course teaches you how to write in Denis. And those are one-on-one classes by appointment, so you can contact me or my alter ego, Shokutan Ren, or Anathea, or her alter ego, Shokutan Anna.
I just noticed that Korov had written a note earlier that about Phil, that it wasn't entirely unreasonable to lock him up. And yes, the DRC, when they did that, they were not being bad guys, or they were not trying to be. They were honestly concerned about his safety. And the day after they released it, they were proven right. Because he immediately turned around and did what he promised them he wouldn't do anymore. But in any case, that's it for today. So thank you all for attending. And I hope you all enjoyed the tour. That's it for now.
We had a great turnout. Thank you all for coming.
Yes, thank you all.
See you next month.
And I crashed again, so. But I'm coming back in for story night.
Okay. And I am going to go ahead and end the tour now. So goodbye.